My question is,
Very
how
good.
can this spiritual practice of chanting the holy name, offering everything, and seeing myself in spirit help me to live simple and to think high?
Yes, sir. That's the question. The question is,
Yes, sir.
how can this spiritual practice of seeing the
hmm
self as spirit, chanting the
That's
holy
right.
name, and offering everything help
That's
us
right.
to live a simple life? To help
Yeah,
us,
right. To help me live simply and to think high.
yes, yes.
How does the spiritual practice help me to do that?
Okay, so the spiritual practice can help us do this. First of all, when we understand and realize that we're not the material body, we stop being engaged in the senses for such enjoyment. And we find that these senses can never be gratified. So when we see that we're not the material body, we start eating to live. We try and take that food that's good for our health, our physical health, rather than food that's just there for the gratification of the tongue, or maybe it's the eyes because it looks inviting. So we save money on that end, because now we're not getting all these foods trying to gratify the senses. Okay, chanting the holy names purifies us of lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy, because it allows us to be purified, being in association with divine presence, who some call God. So the more we are purified, meaning we are freed from identification and enslavement by the senses of the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the belly, the genitals. So we find that we spent most of our resources on trying to gratify those things. But the more we are purified, the less we need to spend of our meager resources on those things. And I'm sorry, go ahead. After you, please. Anytime you want to interrupt or not interrupt, but ask
Yes.
the question, ask the question.
Brother Peace. Well, my question was, I could see how through your first answer, if I'm not spending my money to gratify the tongue, and I'm eating to live, not living to eat, I can see how that could be economically, an incentive for my family.
Yes.
As far as managing meager resources.
Yes.
So it makes practical sense.
Yes. Yes. And see, by offering everything, we say everything we're doing, we're offering. Offering is our surrender. Offering is our service. Offering is our submission. And we have to be sure that we define what we mean, because some of us have a different understanding of what surrender is. Someone might think surrender is something about someone has defeated us in some kind of war, or we're realizing someone is superior to us in some respect, and so we go and we surrender to that person. No, we are those who surrender. We're saying we surrender all the time, everything that we have, everything that we think, feel, will, say, and do. We do it as an offering to our supreme being, who we refer to as divine presence, that presence which is here all the time. So by offering everything or surrendering everything to our supreme being, it allows us to think about our supreme being all the time. And the more we think about our supreme being, the more we associate with our supreme being, who is the indivisible, undifferentiated, supreme, absolute existence. And by associating with this most pure one, by virtue of our association, there's assimilation. We're purified by associating with the most pure, who we refer to as divine presence.
So does the crystal cage, so to speak, dissolve within this assimilation?
Yes. It's like this ego is like into our cage. And we inside the cage, we are a reflection of divine presence. But we inside that bubble, that cage, that crystal, pretty beautiful cage of ego. And it's so beautiful to us that we're afraid to do anything because we don't want to break it. We don't want to disturb the cage. And it's identifying with us so much. It's the master. That ego is a master guerrilla fighter. in that it totally infiltrates us so thoroughly that we think it is us. So much so that we try to defend it. We don't want anything to defend it. We don't want anything to disturb it. We think it's us, but we are not that. So the more we call out the holy name, the more we offer everything, the more we constantly associate with our supreme being and constantly challenge our own being that we are not the body with the soul, we're the soul with the body. So with this song of real freedom, because the more we sing this song, we find that that ego dissolves and we return not as reflections of the supreme being, but in unity with our supreme being, which is the goal of our life.
Right. So right association is, hanging around individuals, so to speak, that's thinking about God.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's called sangha in some spiritual traditions. It's association, excuse me, it's association with those who are endeavoring sincerely to reawaken their forgotten relationship with our supreme being. Well, and this gives meaning and purpose to our life. And it can give more meaning and purpose to us as individuals, as families, and as communities, as nations, as universes.
So, if I understand you correctly, there is no assimilation without right association.
Well, that can be negative. Negative association would be negative assimilation, see? If we want to
That's
be,
right.
Yeah, and that's the problem with sending so many of our people to, in these different kinds of lockups. They're associated with others, for the most part, who were doing things that they were doing on the outside. So when they come out of these situations, they're not truly edified. They have no skills, have no professions, have had no real edifications. So they come out and they're more of a, for the most part, there are exceptions now, but for the most part, it's a detriment to our society. So we say that the best defense for a nation is a well-educated population. It is. So it behooves us as a nation to try and make sure that our inhabitants of our nation are very, very well educated. And we say that the best education is knowledge of yourself. We can have all kinds of material educations. We can have all kinds of degrees, etc. But if we have no knowledge of who we are, we're just like a dried leaf blowing around in the wind. A dried leaf blowing around in the wind can be crushed by anything at any time.
Right.
It can be. Go ahead, bro.
That fragileness, points to that illusion, that non-lastingness.
Yes. You see, the more we are grounded in knowledge of self, the more we are centered. See, without centeredness, we can have no balance. Without balance, we can have no harmony. Without harmony, we can have no peace. So we have to have knowledge of self. So in our tradition, we say, allow the child to do whatever he does naturally until it's about maybe 4, 5, 6 years old. And then we send it to a teacher. And with the help of the parents, the teacher, and the student, we find out what that student does naturally, what the student has brought over from last lifetime, what the student has really the propensity to do. And we help that student to develop his natural talents. So therefore, when we look at ancient lands of ancient Kemet, ancient India, and other places in the world, South America and other places in Asia too, we found out that their architects and their engineers were doing marvelous things. Why is it? Because they were doing what they were naturally inclined to do. So real education means that we allow the student to do whatever it has to do until it's about 4, 5, 6 years old. And then we send it to a teacher who further observes that student to find out what is it naturally inclined to do. And we send it to a more and more refined teachings or teachers as it grows, maybe after 5 years. So the average education took about 25 years. But after 25 years, that student was doing what it was born to do. It enjoys what it does, you see? So it's an architect, it's an engineer, it's in agriculture or astrology, astronomy, whatever, but it's doing what it enjoys doing. That's its natural calling. So in doing this, it can devote its best effort to this. And then we add our spiritual dimension to that. This dimension of offering everything, seeing the self as spirit, and calling out the holy name. So in doing this, associated with our supreme being, who is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, eternally, one becomes what? Omniscient again. And that omniscience, that intelligence, it can plow that back into what it does naturally. So you remember that in the Gayatri we say, Dimahi, Dio, Yo, Naha, Prachoda, Yat. We meditate on this supreme being, and by meditating on supreme being, we're associated with supreme being, and by associating with the supreme being, Dio, our intelligence, our intellect is Dimahi, Dio, Yo, Naha, Prachodayat. Our intelligence is enlightened. And see, we take this enlightened intelligence and pour this back into the trade or profession that we have for the benefit of our society. However, we have to remember we must be purified, because this higher knowledge, this so-called secret knowledge, is not revealed to one who is not working for the good, who is not the well-wisher of all sentient beings. You see, so it behooves us to see the self as spirit. We're spirit. Spirit pervades and transcends everything. Some call this the soul. Some call this by various names. We call it divine presence. We are presence. Our ultimate being is divine presence. And this divine presence is omniscient. That means it's all-knowing. Of course, so the more we associate with this, we become purified, become what's the word? Detox again. Okay, go ahead. And we gradually are able to pour this intelligence back into what we do for the good of our community, for the uplift of all sentient beings in our community.
And we begin to live simple and think high.
Yes, sir. So
I think you answered my question to satisfactory. But my next question would be along the lines of that: how do we, if we do anything at all, when we have, I'm of the Grihasta ashram, or I'm a householder.
Yes.
And I want to, as best I can, influence my family, to have a sadhavic lifestyle.
Yes.
What could I do without, forcing, compelling, being dogmatic and authoritative? What could I do to let them see that this path is in their best interest?
Yes, quietly teach by your example. Be an example. We know that actions speak louder than words. So quietly be the teaching, be the person for them that you are for yourself. So teach by your example. We can't tell them to stop doing something when we are doing it, you see. So remember we said that George Washington Carver used to say, and not only George, but others too, said, what you do speaks so loud, I can't hear a word you say. So we, by our example, teach by example. That's what is called an acharya, one who teaches by one's example, and one whose example is so pristine that other teachers come to that teacher to learn. So we say quietly, just be the person, be that. How's the thing about be the sermon, be the goal you're trying to attain in life, or be the.
That's right.
I can't remember.
Be what you want to see.
Yeah. You got to be what you want to see. Yeah, but so our method is being by teaching by example, teaching by a personal example. In other words, preach what we've practiced. Don't practice what we're preaching. Preach what we've already practiced. It's much easier this way. Gandhi
I agree with you, Brother Peace.
Yeah. Gandhi used to say something similar to what you just said about. It escapes me right now, but it's about. Do you remember that Dharma Das? What Gandhi said about be the sermon you want to see, or something like that. Anyway, it'll come to us later. I think anyone listening to this might remember that phrase about. In other words, we say teach by your example. That's the idea. Quietly and effectively. We don't try to force them to accept this. There's no compulsion in this spiritual philosophy. There's no compulsion at all. But so we teach by example, and through our examples, people can see us, and if they want to, if it's their time, it's their karma, they can try and emulate what they're seeing. You see.
And when you say offer everything, do that mean that I can offer my frustrations?
Yes,
I can
sir.
offer what appears to be depression,
Yes, sir.
or anger,
Yes, sir. Offer.
or madness, or
Yes, sir.
illusion?
Yes, sir. Some Christians might say in old times there was an old gospel song about take it to God and leave it there. So offering is that, see? So that's why we say we are those who submit. It's not that we submit one time. It's like someone will say, well, you submit to Krishna and that's it. No, that's part of it. That's a fraction of it. It's like this little material thing is just a fraction of our real being in this so-called spiritual universe. See, so we offering all the time, offer all our frustrations, all our pains, all our sorrows, all our disappointments, all our despair. We say all that we think, all that we feel, all that we will, all that we do, we bring it to God and leave it there. That's our surrender. That's what surrender means to us. That's what offering means to us. That's what submission means to us. That's what service means to us. We take it to God and leave it there. Om Tat Sat. We can either say Om Tat Sat, which means God, please accept this humble offering. We know that Om is the original primeval word of divine being, and Tat means that which is indivisible, undifferentiated, supreme, absolute existence, and Sat meaning the ultimate truth, this ultimate love, this unconditional love in this cosmic manifestation. So yes, all we can just simply say, my God, please accept this humble offering. Please accept this frustration, this pain, this disrespect, this disappointment and confusion. Yes, sir.
So yeah, thank you again. You answer my questions to satisfactory. Because I always, no matter how spiritual, I think I'm elevating, I always need the practicality of the science.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is spiritual science. And we say it's spiritual science because we can analyze it in a very systematic manner. We can deconstruct it and then we can reconstruct it. It stands to our reason and common sense. No matter how critically we try and analyze it, we see it still stands to reason and common sense. And truth never fails us. Truth is always here. If it doesn't stand to our reason and common sense, if we analyze it very severely, we just set it aside. Don't accept it right now. Never accept it, no matter who says it, no matter which book says it, even if your brother Peace says it. If it doesn't stand to your own reason and your common sense, let it go. Turn it loose. Let it go. You might consider it later, might consider it never again. But it should stand to your reason and common sense. You should be able to analyze it very critically. You should be able to analyze it, take it apart, put it together again, and it should always stand. Truth stands. Truth is never crushed. Truth is always here. This is why we find some great teacher would say that they don't have a name for God. I think Gandhi is quoted to have said that he didn't have a name for God, but if he had to have a name for supreme being, he'd call it truth, because truth endures. This is why we say that we identify supreme presence, divine presence, as being always here. It is always here. It never comes and never goes. It is always here. So the God that we know, the supreme being that we know, this supreme truth is always here. So we enter the kingdom of God from right here, right now, in this moment. Right here, right now, which is beyond past and present. There's no hankering, no lamenting. Just entering by purifying our being again of lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy, confusion and disappointment, and that comes with purification. Then we find that we are entering the kingdom of God. That means that we're seeing that niceness, beauty is everywhere, right here, right now. So we say heaven is here, right now is at hand, and so is hell. So we have to come out of Maya, come out of that illusion, and come over here on the spiritual side, and stay over here on this side, and continue to clean up by associating with our supreme being. And we say this method of cleaning up is coming to the spiritual platform, seeing the self as spirit. I am no body. The self pervades and transcends the body. It pervades and transcends every subatomic molecule, every subatomic particle that makes up this material body. But it's not confined to the body. This body is just a fraction of what we really are. We pervade and transcend this body. So this is spiritual science. It can be analyzed in a very systematic manner, and it stands to the most severe reasoning and common sense.
I agree entirely. Like I said, a lot of questions that I've had have been answered practically, and I can see how I can apply these things in my life, and how coming to the spiritual platform, offering everything and chanting the holy name has the propensity to expand the intelligence.
Yes.
And practically, so that the meager resources one may have, for a family setting could go further.
Yes, sir. We can be healthy, spiritually first, intellectually second, mentally third, and fourth, we can be more healthy physically. That means that our economical position can be better served in a more simplified manner. We can live simple and think high rather than living complicated and thinking low. This is revolutionary.
That's right.
We live simple and think high. We don't live to eat. We eat so the body can be healthy. We're not sense gratiaholics anymore. Gradually, we are purified out of our sense gratiaholicism, if you will.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Okay, Om Namo Shivaya. Thank you very much, brother.